Welcome back to another video, and tomorrow is Champions League. Champions League football has finally returned with a complete different format. And in this video, I'll give you my thoughts of what the new format is all about, what my opinions and perspectives on it, and my prediction for this Champions League. Who is finishing in the top 8 positions, which means who is going automatically through to the knockout stage, who's going to be the surprise team, who's going to be the disappointing team, who's going to be the top scorer, and who's going to win the whole tournament. Before I go any further, don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and comment your own prediction as well. Let me know of each of the categories which I've just mentioned, and whether you agree or disagree with what I'm about to say. As you guys all know, the Champions League format has changed. It went from 8 group stages between 32 teams into now a league phase where, listen, in my opinion, the way, first of all, the trailer which they did, absolute exceptional. Secondly, I kind of like the format because what it basically tells you is that everyone can play against each other. You don't have to wait for maybe the knockout stage for a big team to versus another team. Because the draw was split into 4 pots. It was pot 1, pot 2, pot 3, and pot 4. Very similar to last season, but the biggest difference from last season is that the pot 1 teams, you couldn't face each other. The pot 2 teams, you couldn't face each other. This time around, you're able to face at least 2 pot 1 teams. So if I'm Madrid, I can face a Liverpool. If I'm Madrid, I can face a Bayern Munich. If I'm Barcelona, I can face a Bayern Munich, not wait to maybe the knockout stage to face a big team. So I kind of like the perspective where now big teams, they can now face other big teams. And at the same time, I think you are bringing a lot of competition. Because before, bro, if you win 1 or 2, 3 games, you can rest the 4th game, the 5th game, or the 6th game. This time around, you can't even do that. Because if you're not part of the top 8, you're on the risk of going to the playoffs. And the playoffs is quite interesting because it's pretty much the 8 to 22 where you've got 1 game. And if you don't win that game, you're out. And on top of that, what I like about that, this time, you can't even say, you know what, I'm happy to sacrifice the Champions League. I got my money. Like Sevilla, bro. Every season, Sevilla did it. Villarreal did it. Well, I'm happy to, you know what, I don't want to go through to the knockout stage. I'm not going to win the tournament anyway. Let me finish 3rd. Let me, first of all, get my Champions League money. Let me finish 3rd. Let me go to Europa League and let me actually try to win that instead. This time around, you can't even do that because if you get knocked out, adios. Ma'asalama, bro, you're out. So I can't lie, this new format, bro, is elite. The only thing is you can say, well, more players and I'll play more games. Because it went from 6 games to 8 games. But listen, man, you're getting paid so much money, man. 2 more games, it's not the end of the world. And if you manage to finish in the top 8, then you're good, bro. There's no need to play an additional playoff game. So like I said, FIFA or UEFA, congratulations, man. Great idea. Or should I say, Paris's idea. Because you guys all know, this Super League, this little league phase, it was Paris's idea. I mean, Zlatan nearly really said it in the trailer before they stopped him. Man, listen. They copied his whole flow, bro. Bar for bar. But let's go straight to the predictions. And I'm going to give you the top 8 positions only. I'm not going to bother with 19 and 22. So many teams. I'm only going to give you 1 to 8. And the first team, let's be real, let's not even lie about it, it's of course the defending champions, Real Madrid. I'm not going to spend too much time because one thing about this video and one thing about the teams which I'm picking through, listen, any team in my opinion can finish maybe top 10. Top 15, even if they're a big team. Because my top 8 is not only massive teams, but the way I look at it and the way I foresee it's happening, in my opinion, if you pick up at least 6 W's, I think you've got a very good chance of finishing in the top 8 positions. And that's the way I look at it. Because if you pick up about 18 points, of course, last year and the years before, 18 points is a clean sweep. 6 out of 6. But this time around, you've got 2 more games. But I don't think anyone can win 8 out of 8. At the same time, I don't think anyone can maybe win 7 out of 8. I do think if you win at least 6 out of 8, I think you put yourself in a very good position to progress. And the first team is Real Madrid. I do see Madrid winning at least 6 out of 8 games. Because in their group, they've got Stuttgart at home, W. Lille away, W. Dortmund at home, W. Milan at home, W. Liverpool is the only one which I think we may drop points alongside with Atalanta, which I wouldn't be surprised if we win, but I do think maybe a draw. But Salzburg at home, W. Stade Rennes away from home, W. So I'm just giving you 6 W's, 6 confirmed wins in my opinion, the way I'm predicting it. And maybe the last 2 of Atalanta and Liverpool, which I do see maybe a draw, maybe a loss, but I don't think it will impact everything in the group. For that reason, I think Real Madrid got a very good schedule, a very fortunate schedule, and I do see us progressing. Again, this is not in order. I'm not saying 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just giving you 8 teams which will progress in the top 8. Regardless. The second team is Manchester City. As you guys all know, every single season they manage to progress, but this time around it's very similar to the previous rounds and the previous tournaments. They always get fortunate in their draws. Like, bro, it's not really a coincidence. Like, every single year you get a fortunate draw? Really? Even with this new little league phase and format change, you'd still get a fortunate draw. For City, they've got Inter at home, Slovan Bratislava away from home, at home to Sparta Prague, then away to Sporting, at home to Feyenoord, away to Juve, away to Paris Saint-Germain, of course at home to Club Brugge. So already they picked up 4 W's. The Bratislavas, the Sparta Prague, the Feyenoord, and the Club Brugge, 4 W's. At home to Inter, big up Inter, W. Then they've got arguably the 3 toughest games on paper. Away to Sporting, in my opinion, the dark horse, which I will mention quite soon maybe. Away to Juve and away to Paris Saint-Germain. Out of those 3 teams, you can say on paper it's difficult. I still can expect City, with the talent they've got, I can still see them pick up at least a W away to Paris Saint-Germain and maybe even a W away to Juve. So again, like I said, City will be amongst the top 8. And speaking of Juve, Juve is another team which I do see progressing in the top 8 position. And in my opinion, they might be one of the underdogs to win the whole thing, especially with Thiago Motta and how he's transformed the team, how he's transformed the way they play compared very much to Allegri of last season. He's getting everyone involved, the youngsters and the Dusan Vlahovic, which was never really a main piece under Allegri. And the schedule, again, very simple, very easy. For Juve, they've got PSV at home, W. Leipzig away from home, W. Stuttgart at home, W. Lille away, W. They've got Aston Villa, which is of course away from home, always difficult. Then they've got City at home, again difficult, but at home you never know. They're going away to Club Brugge, W. And Benfica at home, W. I've pretty much given you 6 games which I can see them winning. The only 2 games which is a question marks is the game against Aston Villa away from home. But then again, Aston Villa, new team, they've got the experience over them, so they might even be at Villa. And then of course at home to City. City's always difficult, but they've got the luxury of playing at home. So like I said, out of the schedule, I can see them picking 6 or even 7 W's, bro. Moving on, and I've got Barcelona also progressing as the 4th team into the knockout stage at the top 8 positions. Again, this is not an order. I'm just giving you the teams that I see progressing into the next stage, and Barcelona is one of them. They've started the season very, very good. Everyone is firing on all cylinders. The young players, the Lamine Yamals, the Lewas, the Rafinhas, Pedri's back, and Hansi Flick, his new system is quite effective. And at the same time, they've got a very fortunate draw as well, which I can see them. They should comfortably pick up some wins in most of them. For Barcelona, they've got Monaco away from home, which I can see them winning. Young Boys at home, comfortable win. Bayern at home, which I do feel like they will break their little drought against Bayern and finally beat them. They've got Belgrade away from home, easy win. Brest at home, easy. Dortmund away, Benfica away, easy win. Atalanta at home. And the last game, which I can also see them winning, that too. So like I said, out of the 8 games which I've mentioned, I do see them picking up at least 6 W's, even 7. The only really one which I feel like, is maybe the Bayern. But even Bayern, man, I still think they will beat Bayern at home. At Allianz Arena, complete different situation. But like I said, this one, the new format, it's no more one game away, one game at home. It's literally just one game. And against Bayern in one game, I can see them winning. And speaking of Bayern, Bayern is also another team which I see progressing into the next stage as the 5th team out of 8 teams which I see progressing into the knockout stage. And similar to what I've said about Bayern, and similar to what I said about the rest of the teams, the schedule is very, in my opinion, very comfortable for them. Again, company, new manager. They've started the season a little bit shaky. The first game against Wolfsburg, but they managed to finally win away late. But of course, the second win was quite comfortable. But like I said, I do think with the schedule, it's comfortable. And for Bayern, they've got Zagreb at home. Easy W. Aston Villa away from home. I do think they will win that. Barcelona is the only one which, like I said, I predict Barca to win. But again, even if they lose points, it's not going to change drastically. They're playing Benfica at home. Easy W. Paris Saint-Germain. Easy W. Shakhtar W. And Feyenoord away from home. Again, comfortable W. And then they've got Bratislava at home. 7-8-0. Again, out of the 8 games, I do think they will win at least 6 of them. The only ones, like I said, is the Bayern and the Aston Villas away from home, or the Paris Saint-Germain. But if they drop points against Barca, then the other 7, I can see them winning comfortably. I've mentioned 5 teams. That's 3 more teams remaining that I can see progressing automatically. And the first one is Liverpool. I do think Liverpool with Onslaught, you guys know how I feel about them. But at the same time, I think they started well. And yes, they lost point against Forest at home, which was Slot's fault. But they're similar to what I've said about the previous teams. I think the ones that is fortunate with the draw are the one that can put themselves in a good position to progress. So it might not be the best team. It just needs to be the team that can win what they've got on the table. And Liverpool, their schedule is feasible. For Liverpool, they've got Milan, who's been awful this season away from home, which I can see them winning. Bologna, again, awful this season, which they will win. They've got Leipzig away from home, W. Leverkusen, which isn't the Leverkusen from last season, which I can see them winning. Madrid is the only one which maybe they'll drop points, but even if they win, they've got Girona, complete different team. Away from home, they'll win. Lille at home, they will win. And PSV, complete comfortable. That's 8 games, and I can see them winning pretty much 7 of them, bro. 7 of them. So again, Liverpool will progress. 2 more positions, and there's a lot of big teams that I still haven't mentioned. But the next one is Inter Milan, who I do see them progressing automatically. For Inter, they've got City away from home, which I don't see them winning at all. Then they've got Belgrade at home, W. They're going away to Young Boys, W. Then they're facing Arsenal at home, which they will win. Leipzig at home, W. Leverkusen away from home is the question mark. Then they got Sparta Prague away from home, W. And then, of course, Monaco, W. So the games I've just mentioned, the only one is, of course, City away from home and Leverkusen, which, again, is a question mark. But again, I saw them picking up 6 Ws. 7 is completely feasible if you take into account the Leverkusen game. So Inter is another team which I can see progressing. And the last team that I'm going to be mentioning is not going to be, if you're still thinking it's going to be maybe Arsenal, nope. If you think it's going to be Atleti, nope. If you think it's going to be Paris Saint-Germain, that I still haven't mentioned, no. But Dortmund, the finals of last season, no. The last team is going to be Sporting. Not only will be the final team to progress, but Sporting is going to be the one team that's going to shock everyone in this tournament. And I think there will be a deep, deep run from Sporting in this campaign. They've started off the season incredibly, bro. 5 games, 5 W. Gilchrist is a GA machine. Their little formation of 3-4-3 with Trincao and Gonzalez pretty much excellent. The defenders, they're so stacked. They've got Diomande off the bench, bro. Even the right back position, the right wingman Fresnata on the bench. Huijmalen in the midfield. Bro, Ruben Amorim has pretty much created a system. And on top of that, their schedule is easy. For Sporting, at home they've got Lille, they're winning. Away from home to PSV, they are winning. They've got Sturm Graz, they're winning. Man City is the only one, again, question mark. But I do think they'll pick up at least 1 point. Then they're facing Arsenal at home, which I think, again, they're not going to lose. They're going away to Club Brugge, which I think they will win. Leipzig away from home, question mark. And then Bologna at home, W. The toughest 2 games on paper is City and Arsenal. But it's not City to Anfield or Arsenal at the Emirates. No, it's City, Arsenal at home. They've got the luxury of playing them at home with the home crowd going to be electric and creating an atmosphere. Like I said, bro, on paper, it looks feasible. The way they've played so far this season, incredible. They've got great managers, they've got great players. They are going through, and they are going to be making not only the knockout stage, I can see them making a very deep run, potentially quarterfinals at least. I've given you my surprise team, now I'm going to give you my disappointing team. And the one team which I don't think they will be as good as last season, hear me out, I think it will be Leverkusen. I do think it'll be Leverkusen. I'm not saying Leverkusen's not going to pick up any wins because it's 8 games and I've seen the schedule. There is some comfortable wins for them. But I don't think, first of all, Leverkusen will progress automatically within the top 8. And at the same time, if they do, which I do expect them to, of course, finish within the top 22, which is quite simple to do. If they finish amongst the top 22, I don't think they'll win the playoff game, which will then put them through to the knockout stage. I do think if they do play the playoffs, I think they will lose. I don't think, like I said, I think this season is going to be a reality check for Xabi Alonso and Leverkusen. It's not going to be the little fairy tale of last season. This season will be an eye-opener for everyone for Leverkusen. Then moving on to the surprise player. The one player which I think will surprise a lot of people, and that is Gyökeres from Sporting. I had Sporting being the surprise team, but I think he will go absolute ham. And not only going absolute ham, I don't think he's only going to score 1 or 2 or 3, 4, 5 goals and push them. No. I think he's reaching double digit. I think Gyökeres is scoring at least 10 goals. I can see him finishing on 12 goals. But the 12 goals is not going to be enough because my top scorer of the tournament and my prediction, very simple, is the one person who's been killing it so far, making the Premier League like an absolute joke. 9 goals in 4 games, 2 hat-tricks already, and that's Erling Haaland. I do think Erling Haaland, the games which I've just mentioned for City, the Bratislavas, the Sparta Prague, the final, the Club Brugge at home, bro, I think he was stat pad in most of those games. And even the other game, I can see him picking up maybe 1 or 2 goals. Because, of course, the way Paris Saint-Germain play is completely open compared to a lot of teams. I think in this new system, in this new format, I wouldn't be surprised if Haaland breaks Ronaldo's all-time record of just 1 individual season. But the winner, I know everyone's been waiting for this, the winner of 2024-2025, the Champions League winner, is going to be back-to-back. It's going to be back-to-back. I am expecting Real Madrid to win the Champions League this season. Yes, you might look at it and say Madrid have started slow, but I think it's just the beginning. I think we're fortunate that we started slow now and not at crunch time. I do think we'll figure this out. I do think once all the injuries comes back, no one can beat us. I think we are going to be unstoppable. I don't see anyone in today's football, if everyone's healthy for Madrid and if we play the right team, the right system, no one can beat us. And that includes anyone, whether that's 1 game or 2 legs, anything. So Madrid, in my opinion, will be the winner of this year's Champions League. But guys, this has been my prediction for this year's Champions League. Put down in the comments what your top 8 is, who your surprise team is, who your disappointing team is, who's your surprise player, who's your top scorer, and most importantly, who is your winner for this year's Champions League. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop it a like. Of course, share it. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. And of course, I'll see you soon. Peace.